Hi all, welcome back to another video of Electronica Exchange. This is Aswinth, editor of Circuit Digest and the host for this podcast wherein we'll talk about materials innovation enabling the future of electronics manufacturing. And to do that, we have Mr. Manoj Shankar here, who is the country R&D leader for Industrial Adhesives and Tape Division. So Manoj sir, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you first. Let me express my gratitude and thanks for hosting me in this podcast, and I must thank my company as well as the hosts here, Productronica 2026. The last 2 days obviously has been very encouraging, very learning, and obviously hectic in terms of visitors coming in,
Right.
understanding more.
Right, wonderful. So when I was going through your profile, one thing that immediately caught my attention was you have around 27 years of experience in this materials division. So talking from your experience, can you explain what materials is all about and how is it related to electronics?
Well, material science, it all started with my academic journey. At IIT Delhi, when I was doing my degree in material sciences, what has always interested me is how the polymers, the materials typically, let us say at a micro level, influence at a macro level, and we can design specific properties and build those polymers into certain material performance characteristics.
Okay.
And the same thing as we extend to different market segments, and obviously electronics is something which is slightly unique. Then there are other segments like transportation, appliances, and even construction, general industrial, where material sciences are really diverse, but at the same time they have their own uniqueness with respect to the segment.
Understood.
The passion for material science, I would say from a 3M perspective, where I worked for the last 19 years, has been working across many new innovations on materials, especially let us say on the sustainability perspective, where we have brought in many new materials, let us say low VOC, solventless materials, which can contribute to the greater good.
Understood. So I am an engineer myself. How is materials related to electronics engineering? Like why should an electronics engineer worry about materials?
Okay, it all starts with the design. So any design engineer, when he picks up a design in electronics, the basic framework is materials.
Okay.
And the material selection becomes very critical because these basically determine the end use performance. Because in electronics, when it comes to the end use, there are certain performance properties which are very critical, and that connects with the material selection. And the kind of engagement at 3M that we do is our design solution specialists. These are specific designers who engage with the design teams pretty early.
Okay.
And understand the material selection criteria and the design criteria and contribute.
Okay.
Over and above, we also have what we call as the material data cards, which are there in the material hub,
Okay.
digital material hub as we call it,
Okay.
and this is available externally to all the designers outside. This helps the designers even before physical prototyping do the digital prototype first, enabling multiple designs at a digital scale and saving time and being more efficient.
Wonderful. So when we say electronics manufacturing or electronics in general, there are multiple verticals. We have EVs, we have AI hardware, we have wearables. So how often is innovation coming from the material side? Can you give any examples or case studies?
So from a material science perspective, it's again material and design go hand in hand.
Okay.
Right? And the selection criteria, as I explained, materials is very critical for design enablement. One of the examples I would like to give is on the 3M VHB extrudable tape,
Okay.
which we developed globally and we launched it 3 years back. And this particular technology has changed the way the designers think. It is not about doing a retrofit in a design, it is more about enabling designs. The VHB extrudable tape, if I have to really put it in a simple language, is basically a spool. Basically, it's a rope which can be automated fully. It's a part of an automated machine where the product can be dispensed at a specific temperature, and it can actually enable very different material complex designs. When I say material complex design, it's about even varying the thickness of the bond lines and actually coming out with a very different designs altogether.
Okay. So how much of a crucial role does materials play in electronics manufacturing? Say for example, the end products are DFM requirements or yield or cost. How much of it is actually influenced by the material selection?
So manufacturing is very critical because that's the end state we are looking at, right, from a design perspective. So when we design to scale, I can give you one example. In the electronic industry, there's a lot of use of polyamide material. If I have to put it in a normal language, it's nylon,
Okay.
which is a material. Now, nylon is very hard to bond. It's a low surface energy. At the same time, it has a property of absorbing at a micro level moisture, which makes it hard to bond. Now, hard to bond surfaces would need manufacturing processes with respect to surface prep,
Okay.
maybe plasma treatment and other steps, which at times makes it very difficult from a scalability perspective.
Okay.
So here we have a 3M structural adhesive which was developed 2 years into the market. The adhesive works perfectly well on a nylon. So you can forego some of the manufacturing steps which are add-on, making it inefficient.
Okay.
That way, at a 3M from a adhesive standpoint, we have solutions which can simplify certain manufacturing steps, making it fit to scale.
At what stage should an engineer consider this? If they want to do material selection, should it be in the early prototype stage or design stage, or is it just before getting into manufacturing? When should someone look into this material selection?
Okay, as I earlier mentioned, the material data card, right? So any designer has an access to the digital materials hub that we have. What that material data card does is the designer or the developer can select certain material properties as per design and can do what we call as simulation at a digital level and understand how in the real end use environment this particular material input into the design would work. And this is simple mathematical model like finite element analysis where the designs can be simulated and can be understood to scale.
Understood. So what are some of the common mistakes that engineers make when they are selecting their adhesives or tapes for their products? Like from your experience, what mistakes do you generally see?
Normally at design stage, since I am from an R&D, first I would define that saying that many of the designers understand what they are doing, but there could be gaps at times. Some of the gaps, let us say in a automotive EV, when we talk about automotive EV, there's a lot of requirements that are basically there is no harmonization, but it is coming with respect to the standards. Specific to electric vehicles, it's on the flammability perspective, safety, which is a big concern. Many of the designers might miss out on some of the facts when they're selecting components which go into the EV. Are they really meeting those flame retardancy or specific to certain UL criteria with respect to flame, which could be very important from an overall design and end perspective.
So from what you have explained, I think material selection is not just for the big OEMs, but also for small people doing prototypes or doing early stage designs. So how can a small team get access to this industrial grade materials?
So the access, as I've already mentioned, there are data cards which are available in the system, which can be picked up and it can be simulations could be run. That way you don't have to do a lot of prototyping.
So talking about these materials, one particular application which repeatedly comes to my mind is electric vehicle battery packs, and there are multiple products that 3M is providing, like there is thermal management, there is bonding, and there are safety aspects. So which is crucial for all of this, and what is the most important thing when someone is building an EV battery management system?
So when we look at the EV battery management and manufacturing system, it's still evolving. There are different chemistries on one side with respect to the cells. And on another side, there's a lot of focus on, how do we, from a battery management system perspective, reduce the weight. And why do you want to reduce the weight? Because you want to eliminate many of the non-battery elements. Say the battery starts from the battery module, goes to the pack, and then obviously it goes as an overall system, right? So there are materials which are getting adapted with respect to the size,
Okay.
where the modules are getting reduced. Modules are getting more efficient with respect to structures, so the non-battery elements getting reduced. There comes in the need of adhesives, especially when you are reducing many of the structures, the structural integrity is compromised, so you need structural adhesives for that.
Okay.
Then obviously safety comes in the foremost.
Right.
So there are a lot of thermal materials that walk in.
So right to repair is mandatory in several markets now. So how does a bonding can work in a way that it is secure and it does its job, but at the same time it can also provide the opportunity for people to remove it and repair it?
Okay, right to repair, as we know, it evolved from Europe. Some of the European countries started almost, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. And in certain, I would say, in India also, certain market segment in appliances also right to repair is coming. Right to repair is one of the themes in our booth of 3M that we have put up.
Okay.
And as we look at the right to repair, it is on a debond platform for us.
Okay.
And it is hard to digest, right? How does an adhesive platform support a debond platform?
Right.
So there are different ways in which 3M, addresses this. One of the ways which we are showcasing in the booth is electrically debondability. Let's say a tape which can be bonded with pressure. If we have to debond it for repair, we can apply smaller voltage and debond it. Another way which we are showcasing is application of heat. You can bond it with pressure, you can apply certain temperature of the heat temperature, and basically open it, remove it. And this opens up lot of design possibilities as well, because these kind of solutions are more enablers for more designs to come forward.
Okay. So foldable devices are starting to come into the market, and they are introducing a new kind of stress on materials which was not there earlier. So what kind of solution does 3M bring for foldable devices?
Well, if we talk about foldable devices, this is one of the trend which has come in. The form factors are changing. And with respect to foldable devices, the basic expectation is when we fold, right, it should not crack, it should not break, right? That's a basic thing. So we have launched some of the new product innovations in the last 5 years, addressing this particular need or the trend. Where our adhesives and the crux lies in, controlling two things, which is very, scientific. One is, we call it in science as creep, which is resistance to movement with time. Second is controlling the modulus of the adhesive, because the adhesive has to be soft in order to, resist the crack. So foldable pressure sensitive adhesive is evolving as a very strong topic for these foldable designs, and it is unique even at a design level. So every design might need a change, but then that makes it unique.
Understood. So what is something about material science in electronics that you wish more people actually understood about?
Okay, so when we look at electronics, right, we look at electronic as a gadget, right? We don't, at times people miss out that they can feel the materials. They can feel, they can touch, and material science is prevalent. That is one thing, as a material science advocate or as a 3Mr, I would really, encourage people to really look at it. And it's changing. The material science, as I mentioned in the previous answers as well, right? Some of the solutions, material science is an enabler. So it can be felt, it can be seen.
Correct. So looking forward in the next 5 to 10 years, what kind of advancements do you think would happen in the materials field?
So one of the things we talked about is on the foldable piece, right? How the phones are becoming, more foldable, the bezel sizes are going thin, and the screens are becoming big. So that's one thing for sure that will grow further. And another thing could be related to the virtual reality side, where this could be integrated with the VR and doing away with some of the mobiles. That could be another. And the third thing, which is more important from an industry perspective, is more and more sustainably sourced materials, and sustainable materials would go into this electronic gadgets. That way it will make, from a sustainability perspective, from a circular economy perspective, right, good for our planet.
Wonderful. So this has been a very insightful discussion. Again, thank you so much for taking time and coming to the podcast and answering our questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.